right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our regular scheduled city council meeting. Today is Tuesday, May 20th, 2025 at 6:01 p.m. I'll call this meeting to order, and as usual, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Barb, you want to read the clerk's open meeting statement, please?
Sure. This meeting and all meetings of the Common Council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, so the citizens may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting.
And can you also take roll?
Mayor Brian Smith,
Here.
Colin Dykstra,
Here.
Paul Hagan,
Here.
Eric Halverson,
Here.
Dimitri Martin,
Here.
Paul Mayo,
Here.
Corey Nagel,
Here.
Eric Olson,
Here.
Dave Peterson,
Here.
Scott Perchatsky,
Here.
Henry Veliker.
Here.
10 present, we have a quorum.
All right, and Barb, you want to start the introduction of the department heads, please?
Barb Nowak, City Clerk.
Aaron Jensen, City Administrator.
Matt Klatt, Airport Manager.
Eric Bailey, Library Director.
Stephanie Wright, Finance Director.
Justin Behrens, Director of Public Works.
Laura Colbert, Parks and Rec Director.
Pete Traeger, Chief of Police.
And one we're missing is Josh Warner. He's actually in the back room operating the cameras, and, microphones, and so on. All right, so next up is our consent agenda. What you see on your agenda is exactly what we would like to talk about. Consent agenda is for all of those items listed. We make one motion and approve that one motion unless you see something on there that you would like to be moved to the regular agenda. Anybody? If not, I'm looking for a motion to approve the consent agenda as printed.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Olson, second by Martin, that we approve the consent agenda as printed. Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried. Regular agenda. Nothing new there, so again, to start the meeting, we would need a motion to approve.
Move to approve the regular agenda.
Motion by Hagan, second by Veliker, that we approve the regular agenda as printed. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no.
Aye.
Oh, sorry, Colin. I'll slow down just a little bit. Motion carried. Non-agenda items, announcements and correspondence. We have set aside at every meeting a public input. This is for the public or staff or council members that would like to speak on a non-agenda item. If they would like to, please step up to the podium and limit your time to 3 minutes or less. Hold on just a second, Mark, if you don't mind. Anybody, we're gonna give you more than 3 minutes, I guess, so we'll just wait here. Anybody that would like to give any public input? Hearing none, Mark Flora has asked to speak to us tonight, so Mark, go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I won't even take 3 minutes. Winchester Academy, our Executive Director, Ann Linden, will be here at your June 17th meeting to give the annual 10-minute update of what Winchester Academy is up to. However, we just finalized our summer series schedule late last week and got it into the mail, and Ann, I'm sure we'll talk about it, but it'll be too late for one item she wants you to be aware of. So I've asked that we distribute our calendar to you and issue an invitation to you all on June 2nd, 2 weeks from yesterday. We're having a presentation by Josh Werner, Steve Fensky, and Wayne Netzler about the 40-year celebration of Waupaca Media. So we'd love to have you there if you want to come. We've asked them to tell stories of the fun and adventures in all our media in Waupaca, stuff they wouldn't want the city council to know about. So if you came in, we'd love to see you. And that's all I have. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mark. That's also, as you probably already know, because you opened the envelope, but that's, that same invite is in there. Okay, under community and department head reports, we do not have anything from the Waupaca Area Arts and Culture Network. This is Public Works Week, so we have a proclamation, which is on page 83 of your packet. Sorry, let me get there here. I'll go ahead and read this. National Public Works Week proclamation, May 18th through May 24th, 2025. Whereas public works services provided in our community are an integral part of our citizens' everyday lives, and whereas the support of the understanding and informed citizenry is vital to the efficient operation of public works systems and programs such as water, sewers, streets, forestry, public buildings, and solid waste collection, and whereas the health and safety and comfort of the community greatly depends on these facilities and services, and whereas the quality and effectiveness of these facilities, as well as their planning, design, and construction, is vitally dependent upon the efforts and skill of public works officials, and whereas the efficiency of the qualified and dedicated personnel who staff the Waupaca Public Works Department is materially influenced by the people's attitude and understanding of the importance of the work they perform. Now, therefore, I, Brian Smith, Mayor of City of Waupaca, Wisconsin, do hereby proclaim the week of May 18th through May 24th, 2025 as National Public Works Week in the City of Waupaca, Wisconsin, and I call upon all citizens and civic organizations to acquaint themselves with the issues involved in providing our public works and to recognize the contributions with public works officials make every day our health, safety, comfort, and quality of life. Given under my hand and seal of the City of Waupaca, Wisconsin, this 20th day of May, 2025. Justin, make sure that not only you, but all of your staff knows that we greatly appreciate them and appreciate that they have a week for them.
Absolutely, Mayor. Thank you.
All right, next up, we, on file for you is Waupaca Area Fire Department report. Jake is not here tonight, but that's on file. Under new business, we have a request for street closures. This is for Grand National Lounge at 106 West Union Street. This is their grand reopening on June 7th, 2025, and I understand that Kelly Atkins is here. Barb, do you have anything you want to set them up with here, or is it?
Nope,
Okay.
Kelly's just gonna explain some of the events, I think, and the map is up on screen and in the packet of what they have that they're gonna close off.
Okay. Kelly, welcome.
So we're asking that the street, Union Street, be shut down from Main.
Pick that microphone up there. There
Thank
go.
you. We're asking that Union Street from Main Street until, to the alley be shut down from noon until 10 p.m. So we can have a stage and have Daddy-O play in the street and have street dancing for our re-grand opening.
Okay. And I'm assuming that Barb and Chief, you've had a chance to look at this and you're okay with it?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. All right, Kelly, give us one more time. What's the time of that event?
It's June 7th. We're asking that the street be shut down from noon until 10 p.m.
Okay. All right. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
And hopefully the weather's good.
I
We
hope
would
so,
need a motion to approve that.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Martin, second by Veliker, that we approve street closures for Grand National Lounge at 106 West Union Street for their grand reopening on June 7th, 2025 from noon till 10 p.m. All right, any discussion? Henry, go ahead.
They mentioned in their request about the expansion of your premise. Do we have to do that as well, or can staff do that? Is that an action the council needs? But I guess what I was,
Typically, that
If it-
is something that does happen at council, but I haven't been involved in the conversation.
we'd have time, right? I think our first June meeting is June 2nd.
Well, usually, in the past, it's just been in the request that they're asking for the expansion.
Okay.
So it was in the.
So is the request in there? Is that what you're
Yes.
saying, Henry? It's already in there,
I-
so we could add that to the motion?
Yes.
Okay.
Or I was confused about
apologies,
that.
yes.
I didn't know if there was a separate required application for that or not.
Martin.
You can just
So,
do.
Dimitri, knowing that they want to have their liquor license expanded for that day, are you okay with that? You made the
Absolutely.
motion.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Henry, you made the
Yes,
second?
sir. Yeah.
So you're okay with that? Thank you, Henry, for correcting us.
thank you.
All right, any other questions, comments? All right, well, voice vote here. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against, say no. Motion carried.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. All right, we have a request by the Waupaca Community Arts Board for street closures for the use of City Hall parking lot, use of the bandstand and the front lawn for the 19th Annual Arts on the Square Arts Anticipation Week to be held on Sunday, August 10th through Saturday, August 16th. And I see Marcy's here. Hi, Marcy.
Hi, everybody.
Good evening.
So that's what we're requesting. I think that the street closures are almost exactly the same as they were the last couple years. So it's sort of a staged process now with the tent company setting up the tent a little bit ahead of time. They do the same thing for Rotary. So we've met with Streetworks and Aaron and kind of gone through this with a fine-tooth comb. Everybody's good with it. We're going to be putting out additional street closure warning signs, which I don't think we knew we were supposed to do last time. So like the block before the street that's closed, we put an additional sign up that the city will furnish for us. The additional thing this year that's very different is we're going to be erecting a Ferris wheel in the back lot of the library. I'm not sure if that map shows the location of the art Ferris wheel. Is it? Can you see it?
It does.
Oh, there it is. Oh, God, it's right there. Okay, so what this is it's the 20th anniversary of the Arts Board's nonprofit status. It's the 19th anniversary of Arts on the Square. But for our 20th anniversary, we wanted to just kind of go big. So we're renting this Ferris wheel, and we have 13 artists or groups of artists that are going to be creating 8 by 10 foot banners. They're basically essentially going to be big giant paintings, and those will be affixed to between the spokes of the Ferris wheel. So when the Ferris wheel is spinning, it'll be like a revolving art gallery. So people will be able to just, look at the beautiful artwork. We have workshops that people will be starting to sign up for that they can work with specific artists. We have some public workshops that we'll be doing at our Summer Nights concerts and at the opening day, so that everybody in town has an opportunity to create one of these paintings. And then we have a whole group of artists that just want to do their own. They just don't want to do workshops. I don't know why. Some of them are teachers and they don't want to work with kids, which I can totally understand. So there will be some actual wonderful works of art done by some pretty prominent local artists we've had relationships with over the last 20 years. So it's going to be quite phenomenal, I think. So that's why the Ferris wheel is there. The Ferris wheel is from Earl's Rides out of Waupaca. They're fully licensed and insured. And we've vetted that through the city. They don't find a problem with us putting on the parking lot. We wanted to use the parking lot because we didn't want to close one more street because we know that it's an inconvenience for the businesses. So That's the thing that's different this year.
Okay. Anybody have any questions? Anyone want to give a motion to approve this?
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion by Olson, second by Martin, that the council approves the Waupaca Community Arts Board request for street closures for August 10th through August 16th, 2025. Any discussion? If not, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Against? Against, say no. Motion carried.
Thank you
All
very
right,
much.
Marcy, good luck.
All right, thanks.
All right, for the next several minutes, it's going to be the Laura Colbert show here. So we have the Recreation Center boiler replacement contract. Laura?
Thank you, Mayor. You can find this memo on page 92. So we had requested $205,000 in the capital improvement plan for our boilers in the rec center. This request was before we received our grant, so the request was for our existing footprint of the rec center. When we created the bids that were due on May 13th, we took the expansion into consideration. So all of the bids that came in were fitted for the future build of the rec center. And we had 3 bids come in. Our lowest bid was for $219,000, which was over our CIP, which was again $205,000. There are 2 reasons why this is, the one reason why it's not as surprising is because it had the full scope of the expansion. But then what's really great is August Winners, who had the lowest bid, they have already secured the initial process of the Focus on Energy rebate, which is totaling $33,321. So that actually will bring the bid down to $185,678, which is below the $205,000 that we had in the CIP. So our request essentially is to approve the contract with August Winners, which is the lowest responsible bidder for the rec center boiler replacement in the amount not to exceed $219,000 with the $33,000 rebate for a total cost of $185,678.
All right. Any questions? Anybody? We would need a motion to approve purchasing this boiler system and using geo bonds to pay for that.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would any of the grant be able to be reimbursed? Would the city be able to reimburse from the grant because the boiler is covering the heating of that area?
And that is something that we looked into, but because when we applied for the grant, that boiler was not within the original scope of the grant, we will not be able to use the grant funds for that.
You'll find out that we wouldn't have been able to do it anyways in a few minutes, but that's a good question. So,
Thank you, Mayor.
okay, any other questions? Good question, though. I think we had that before, too, and we tried, and we couldn't make it work. Any other questions? Again, we'd need a motion to approve then.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Hagan, second by Peterson, that we approve the purchase of a boiler system for the rec center with the cost in geo bonds would be $185,678.41. Any discussion, any more discussion? If not, Barb will call the roll.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Eric Olson.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have discussion on the construction contract for the Flexible Facilities Program Grant Project. That's the expansion for the rec center. And Laura, I'm going to turn it right back over to you again.
Thanks, Mayor. I'm really excited to bring this forward, especially as this is Aaron's last city council meeting. All right, so on May 1st, we had reviewed 10 submitted bids, which we were really surprised by that number, and we're fortunate to have 10. And because this is a construction project, we, again, needed to go with the lowest responsible bidder. As you can see on the table on page 122, Ellis Construction was identified as the lowest responsible bidder, coming in at $3,904,400. And you can see the scope of the bids increasing as the numbers go down. I put those in numerical order. And just as a reminder, the project timeline is that we're going to break ground July 1 with a completion date of August 2026. So when Ellis submitted the lowest bid, it was a highly competitive process. And although the total construction costs exceed the budgeted amount allocated through our grant, you can see the comparisons in the next table. When you look at the budgeted amount, please note that that should read $4,165,225. We are off by $255,300, which is highlighted in the next paragraph. When you add a 2.5% contingency, thank you, Aaron, of $100,000, we are then off by $355,300. Based on the collaborative efforts we've had since this bid with both Ellis Construction and our architect Berners Schober, we have identified not only $185,000 worth of saving, but as of a few minutes before this meeting, we are now over $200,000 worth of savings because we have gotten all the information back from all the different contractors. So we are now looking at a projected overage of about $155,000. What we recommend, what our budget strategy is we have reviewed the capital projects from 2024 and 2025, and we've identified cost savings from several initiatives due to either favorable bid results or supplemental funding from external partners like the FAA. These projects include River North, airport T-hangars, clerk meeting software, and as you just learned, we're saving money on the boiler. With those, we have a collective savings of $289,322, which far exceeds the amount that we need, $155,000. So it allows us to maximize the $4,165,000 that we got from the DOA without impacting our borrowing plans or drawing from the general fund. Additionally, we have found out that we can still potentially apply for the full grant amount, which was $4.25 million, $4,250,000. That is what we could have applied for this project. Our budget came in at $4.165. So there's a differential around $85,000. So our grant administrator is in the works applying for that additional $85,000 now, which could potentially also impact our overage. So in conclusion, we are asking for approval of the contract with Ellis Construction. It enables the city to move forward with impactful quality of life and economic development project with 95% of total costs funded externally. And it represents a strategic investment in Waupaca's future while maintaining sound fiscal stewardship. So our recommendation is to request to approve the contract with Ellis Construction for the Rec Center expansion project in an amount not to exceed $3,904,400. And you can see on page 125, Berners Schober has a letter in there outlining the savings, which again is closer to $200,000 with an overage of closer to $155,000 on those two highlighted numbers you see.
Okay, so, thank you, Laura. Did a good job of explaining where we're at. I can tell you that we've had numerous meetings since the bids came in, looking at trying to figure out the best way to move forward with this. And we believe that this is the best option we have. Remember that in that overage, that does include a contingency of $100,000, and that contingency, of course, is only going to be used if needed, and it would need council approval to be able to use that. So we're hoping that we can find continuing savings maybe throughout the project and not be able to have to use the contingency, but there is no guarantee there. I think the bright side of this was Stephanie was able to find, as Laura has explained, a number of items that we have saved money on. And so we would not have to borrow money to make this project work. Aaron did take the opportunity to talk to the state of Wisconsin, who is running this grant program, looking at maybe changing the project. And to do that, their recommendation would have been that they prefer that we do not do anything with the workspace part of it, but to look at either eliminating the additional gym or reducing that gym. And in our mind, that is our number one priority, is to add additional indoor recreation in the community. So that's what we're at. I think we can, obviously, we've found a way that we can make this work. Are we happy that it came in over budget? No. Under the volatility of what's going on in this country, I'm surprised that we aren't worse off than we are. So I think what we're getting, as Laura said, it's a very competitive. There were 10 bids that came in, and we took the lowest bid, and so we know that Ellis sharpened their pencil to be the lowest bid. So it makes, again, maybe not happy, but it's something that I think is going to work very well for our community. Okay, just to add on to what Laura did, who did an excellent job in explaining it to us. So thank you. Eric?
Does this cost include tearing down and removing that old building? That's all part of that?
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yes. Yeah, this is the complete project, right? And we do have Steve from Berner Schover with us tonight, and I'm sorry,
Andrew.
Andrew from Ellis is also here tonight if you have any questions that you would like to ask them. If they do ask you questions, guys, if you don't mind stepping up to the podium, or if you have something that you'd like to add, I'm okay with that too. Anybody else have any comments, questions?
Well, I just think that it's great that we're keeping on pace. It's a really aggressive schedule, so I really compliment the team to keep this going. I mean, for a public project, it's moving pretty much lightning speed and getting 95% paid for by outside sources. Pretty amazing.
Right.
Mayor, would you refresh my memory as to when this has to be completed underneath the grant?
Laura?
By August of 2026.
Okay. So if there's delays in materials or other things, that could be a factor?
It could potentially be a factor, but the state is aware that there may be some delays, and so we'd be working with them on that. But we need to do everything in our due diligence to make sure it's done on time.
Okay.
Anybody else? Anybody want to make a motion to approve this project?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion by Martin, second by Hagan, that we approve contract with Ellis Construction for the Recreation Center Expansion Project. Any further discussion? If not, Barb will call the roll.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Eric Olson.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
All right. Thank you, everybody. Laura, great job. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody.
Steve, and I forgot his name already. Andrew. I'm sure I'll get to know you.
Thank you, guys.
All right.
Good luck.
Thanks, Scott. Have a good night. Drive safe. Should write it down. All right, we have ordinance number 02-2025. It's an ordinance amending 17.102 of the zoning district map as allowed under 17.7. This is the first reading. Aaron, you want to take this?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Smith. Council members, as you can see in the ordinance, this pertains to 749 Layton Road and 755 Layton Road. I'm going to go to the staff report, which our staff member Rhonda Rollins helped prepare, so thank you to her for that. You can see two vacant lots right here in the circle. These are R1 parcels, or single-family residential. And we had the two gentlemen who are the applicants that came forward to pull a building permit, and through that process, we realized that it had a dual zoning. We try to get rid of all dual zonings. We have several throughout the city. We haven't been able to, but not great practice to have one parcel in two different zoning districts. In this particular case, the dual zoning was prohibiting the construction of a structure. You can't have a structure that's constructed over the line of those two zonings. And you can see kind of what that did to the buildable area. So what you see is the single family in R1 in pink, and then the resource conservation. This was done a long time ago, and when these lines were drawn, it was done in a very imperfect, non-strategic way. The reality is we have things that do protect the river that are in the site plan review process, such as ordinary high water marks, wetland delineations, setbacks off of waterways and rivers. So the resource conservation isn't doing anything that our regular review process wouldn't do. So what Plan Commission did review this, and we are suggesting that it does get switched to the R1. So we would remove the RC zoning. I'm going to show you kind of how this lays out too. Remove the RC zoning or resource conservation. All these lots going right back to the river would be single family or R1. And you can see how these homes are laid out on the site plan and how far they are from floodplain wetlands. So there's quite a bit of area on these deep lots as it goes towards the river. So again, this is the first reading. We're not going to take action on it tonight, but this is what is being recommended.
All right, anybody have any questions of Aaron? Okay, if not, we need, this is just first reading, I'm sorry. So we'll see this at our June 2nd meeting. All right, next up, we have a proposed development agreement for 500, 520, 540, 550, 560, and 570 Woodland Circle. Aaron, this is yours also.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Smith. City Council members, this is on page 141 of your packet. Mayor Smith already mentioned the lots that we were talking about in Woodland Circle, or as some would refer to as the Swan Park neighborhood. These lots do have a little bit of history. We've talked about them in the past. They were involved or a part of a development agreement with Green Tree Construction, in which they were sold to Green Tree Construction, and then Green Tree also had a number of other city-owned lots that they were developing. And as a result of an amendment to that agreement, the city took back these lots in 2024. And then before Jared took off, he started to prepare a request for proposals to get these, because our priority's always been to get homes on these lots, get them developed. And we finished up that request for proposals with help from the Community Economic Development Department staff. Sent that out, I believe, in February. I think the due date was sometime in April. And we did receive one response. That response was from Ironman Construction, LLC, based out of Scandinavia. And Lucas is with us tonight with his partner, Bill. I'll give them an opportunity to speak about kind of the project if they would like. But I'll give a quick summary. So what we're talking about and what the proposal outlined was a proposal to purchase each of the lots for $15,000 per lot, totaling $90,000. This is a single-family project, so each of the homes would be a single-family construction. This neighborhood does have neighborhood covenants. The neighborhood covenants were a part of the request for proposal, so they are aware of those covenants and they are aware of their need to meet them, and they intend to do so. The target market in working, or at least just through a conversation with Lucas Gladowski, was that they were going to target somewhere in that $400,000 to $450,000 sales price range. Obviously, markets do change, but right now that is their plan. Project timeline, the agreement does state that all these homes will need to be completed within 36 months of acquiring the property or acquiring title of the property. If they do not get complete within 36 months, there is a reversion clause in which the city of Waupaca takes back the lots at $1 per lot, and with then again the intent to get them developed. So we hope that that reversion clause does not have to be enacted, as we hope they have success and get single-family housing on the lots. Again, compliance, all other development compliances do apply here. The only really unique scenario on these is there's when the neighborhood was developed, there's a requirement for some rain gardens to be constructed on these lots. That's actually one of the reasons that Green Tree, they didn't want to deal with some of that, and then also some other things. But one of the reasons we got them returned, we were able to share DNR information about, they're pretty simple, but there are a stormwater feature that is required in this neighborhood, and the applicants are aware of that and will do that. So the only other thing of note here, this is kind of a little bit of a different agreement. It's with both Brayton Devco LLC, which is Bill is the representative of that, and then Gladowski Properties LLC, and Lucas is the representative of that. This was reviewed by Steve Sorensen. Comments were provided, and Steve is comfortable with how it's written and would recommend approval as well. Attached to this is all the material, including the RFP, including the response from Ironman Construction, and of course the development agreement. And I think that wraps it up. So I guess I would be happy to answer any questions from City Council, or if Lucas or Bill would like to speak to the project at all, certainly feel free to do so. Get to it.
Hi, I'm Bill Bodie. My entity is called Brayton Devco LLC. I'm a sole member, so that's basically me. I know Lucas because he helped me 5 years ago with a large addition that I did in my house here in town. And I've come to know him and respect the work that he and his brothers do. So when they got the approval to go forward with these lots, he and I talked and decided that we would collaborate. I have a little bit of a hidden agenda. My son, Taylor, is an architect and has the good sense to have finally moved back from California to Wisconsin. So I expect that he will be a co-collaborator in this venture as well. But we're excited. It's a great subdivision, as we all know, and we look forward to putting up some quality houses. Any question?
Yeah, go ahead, Dimitri.
So I didn't notice any garages. Will there be an external, a detached garage?
Well, the covenants of the subdivision required attached garages on all of the dwellings. This is not a proposed.
This is just one we're building in a different subdivision, so we attached it here as an example. This side.
Lucas, I'm sorry, but you can't speak without a microphone.
Oh, sorry.
So, yeah, if you want to stand up there and answer that, that's fine. Thank you.
Must be on the wrong.
Yeah, that's okay.
So we just attached these plans before we partnered with this. And these are plans that we are building in a different subdivision. But again, the size and quality are going to maintain. But his son's the architect that's going to be in charge of drafting the houses for these 6 lots.
Does that answer your question, Dimitri?
I must be on the wrong page. I was looking on page 137, and those homes don't show garages, but
Yeah, he's looking at the pictures of that other house that they're gonna be building. The one with the
Oh,
wetlands.
that's
Yeah,
the-
that one.
oh, that's the
Yep.
what?
So, yeah,
Okay,
that's-
sorry.
Yeah.
That explains
Okay,
it.
we're all set? Any other questions? Yeah, go ahead, Corey.
So when Green Tree had the lots for sale, they didn't, well, they built some houses without a buyer, but most of them, they came through and they had a buyer. Are you guys just building the house and then putting it out for sale? Or are you working with somebody that you know is going to be interested?
I think it's going to end up being a combination of those two. We'll start, plan is to start at least one house yet this year to be ready for spring. And then as that comes to market, then so does interest and potentially in then a second, a third, and a fourth. So yeah, but we will start with one or two spec houses.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? Question? Go ahead, Eric.
So I guess it's not so much about the development agreement, but more so the stormwater management up there. That subdivision has been horrible with stormwater management since it was first developed. I mean, over the years, there was the first edition, the second edition. Now with this, I don't know if rain gardens are going to be the answer with that engineered out, but there's a lot of areas in that subdivision when it rains, not even rains, just regular sump pump runnage. It's constant, and there's never really been, storm sewers put in there. It's always just been kind of a cover up and go.
We're talking about that right now. So Corey, who has represented some similar complaints from constituents, and we've had a conversation, I think last Friday about it, and prior to that, Justin and Roger have also been brought into that. Right now, we are, this summer, in the near future, we're looking at re-excavating some of the ditches that have filled in with silt and sediment over the course of years to help with some of that. We do recognize it's not perfect out there, and I know that there's going to be some things done in the worst of the areas this summer. As far as like putting actual stormwater in, obviously that would be a very expensive project that would get assessed to property owners, and I don't think that's been received favorably in the past either. So Justin, I know you.
The rain gardens were designed in that section of Woodland Circle that has the curve there, where it went out initially for DNR review, and there was calculations included in that, so that's supposed to reduce the flow and sediment from reaching the nearby river. So those absolutely have to go in, or else we'll be breaking a permit that was granted to us by the DNR, and that was one of the big reasons why Green Tree backed out, because they were unwilling to include that in their work. So.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody want to make a motion to approve this agreement?
Make a motion to approve the agreement as presented.
Second.
Motion by Veliker, second by Olson, that we approve the development agreement with Brayton Defco LLC and Glodowski Properties LLC as presented. Any discussion? If not, Barb will call the roll.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Abstain.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
9 ayes, motion carried.
All right, thank you. Good luck to you guys. Looking forward to seeing those homes. Before we move on here, I skipped over the department heads' reports, and I know some of you are probably fairly happy, but I do want to give the opportunity, starting with Matt, if there's anything that you want to say what's going on at the airport, or anything you want to report to us.
It's been a busy couple of weeks. We hosted the United States Air Force Academy and University of North Dakota during SafeCon, which is a collegiate competition down in Oshkosh. And just that over the 2 weeks, they added over 300 operations, bought a bunch of fuel, and made it pretty active out there. So that's our big thing.
All right, thanks, Matt. Eric? So,
If anybody wants to take a look at our report, it's on page 9 in the packet. Very quickly, trying to keep it to 30 seconds. Met today with the architect for the small meeting rooms that we're hoping to put in on the north side and the first floor. We are now offering payment by credit card at the library, provided your transaction is $10 or more. We are going to be rolling out yard signs for the summer library club, so if you sign up, you get to have a Star Reader Lives Here sign that you can put up in your front yard. So I've seen those be really popular around other communities, and I'm hoping they'll be popular here. And we're working on evaluation of library signage inside and out to assess all of our existing signage as well as what opportunities we have to add more. That's it.
all right, thanks, Eric. Stephanie, anything?
I'll just say that we can expect Jay from Johnson Block to be here on July 15th for the report.
Okay, Justin?
Airport sewer extension, the lift station is not 100% functional, but it's installed. We're working on making some final connection, some concrete work, and then getting WPS out there and getting some power to it for startup, and hopefully that's getting wrapped up real soon. Street side, Elm Street I have in here starting in June 1. It's a little bit of a typo. That's a Sunday. We never start on a Sunday. But I just got an updated schedule about an hour and a half ago saying a start of June 9th. And we're having a pre-construction conference tomorrow with the contractors to start ironing out all these details. We very recently planted 26 trees in the Eastgate neighborhood with the help of the Rotarians, spearheaded by Henry there. So it's a nice picture. You can see a few of the Rotarians along with our guys. And that's a neighborhood that we had 0 boulevard trees. So it's super great to get those trees in there. Water side, I'm working on our consumer confidence report. You may or may not know that we had gotten written up by the DNR because there is a new service line inventory sheet. We basically did not fill it out correctly. There are a number of laterals we do not know of the material that is made out of, and we were supposed to report that. Well, instead of indicating unknown, we left it blank, and kind of a technicality. So you'll see that out there. You probably got the notices in the mail as well. So a railroad inspection was completed in Industrial Park. No major defects, which is great because sometimes railroads can be very expensive. And finally, National Public Works Week is this week. We had our lunch today, and then we postponed our Touch a Truck event with the second graders till Thursday, which is a really good event. And basically, it's an educational piece that we try to relay to them that there are people out there providing a service to them, not just within the city, but everywhere, snow plowing and keeping them safe and happy. So that's it.
Thanks, Justin. Laura?
Thanks, Mayor. Well, you heard 2 of the big news items already. One of the other really remarkable things that occurred is we have, and by we, I mean the baseball and softball boards have attained enough funds to redo the infields at Swan Park. They had a wonderful banquet for the donors last Thursday, so we're going to break ground in September of this fall and have our grand opening on May of 2026. Other item of note that I want to bring to your attention is we are a Green Tier Legacy community now, so this is the whole city. I have had the true pleasure of attending a few meetings now, and if you look on the end of page 31 and the top of page 32, you can learn about all of the different wonderful aspects of being a part of a Green Tier Legacy within our state. And there's a map that shows the communities that are a part of that. And we are one of the few, and it's going to be a really great thing for our city. I'm really excited about it. As I say, I drank the Kool-Aid. And in case you haven't seen down at Rotary Riverview Park, the Shine project is complete. It's gorgeous. And they're having their grand opening June 26th. And we got to finish up the groundwork, but other than that, the tiles look beautiful, and can't wait for the sun to shine through them.
Lord, I was taking a walk, Brainerd's Bridge on the north side of the river, and there are some trees planted. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know if you remember, but last year we had the DNR come and do erosion project on the islands, and they still had funding left over and came back this year and did prairie plugs and more tree plantings and just worked out there some more. They actually had the high school group out there, and they got to shock the fish as well as have the high schoolers help with the plantings. And so they wrapped some of those trees, which is great. And they also plan on still going out there and doing an herbicide treatment on the invasives. So that's still yet to come. They got rained out the first time they had it scheduled.
All right, thanks, Laura. Pete?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. My report's on page 34 of your packet. Council can give you just a few stats from the month of April. We were pretty busy. We had 599 calls for service, 53 traffic stops were conducted, 52 citations, and 73 warnings were a result of those traffic stops. Last week was National Police Week. I don't want to say we celebrated that. That probably isn't the right verbiage, but we obviously remember the fallen from years past and last year. To give a brief history of National Police Week, I don't know if everyone's aware, but in 1962, President Kennedy signed a proclamation which designated May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day, and in the week which that date falls is Police Week. Memorial service began in 1982 in Washington, D.C., where approximately 120 surviving families gathered to remember the fallen. Decades later, the event, more commonly known as National Police Week, has grown to a series of events which brings thousands of survivor families and law enforcement to Washington to honor and remember the fallen. Just to give you a few stats, in 2024, 147 police officers died in the line of duty, representing a 25% increase compared to 2023, where 118 officers passed. Leading the cause of death was gunfire with 52 officers and traffic-related incidents with 46. What has been done in our police department is to have a luncheon during that time frame for our officers to thank them, and we want to thank obviously all the members of council that were able to attend, and the mayor and Aaron Jensen for being there as well. During that time, we held an awards ceremony, and Officer Colbert was recognized for his actions taken on March 6th. He was honored with a life-saving medal. He responded within 3 minutes to a medical call, was able to provide CPR and applied the AED to a patient. Through his great work doing CPR and providing that aid for over 10 minutes waiting for the ambulance to arrive, there was a positive outcome with that patient. After the incident, Gold Cross contacted the police department and advised that without his care that he provided, the outcome most likely would have been different. So kudos to Officer Colbert and all our officers for their dedication to the city. Currently going through a hiring process with the PD right now. We are short one officer with my promotion. We had our first round of interviews, and 4 applicants are moving on to the chief and captain stage of our process, and that interview should be conducted in June. Other than that, there's more information in the packet. I know I want to keep it somewhat brief, and I've talked a lot, so if you have any questions, thank you.
All right, thank you, Chief.
Yep.
Josh?
Recently completed a cellular RFP process to look at the city cell service. It's been 6 years since we've last looked at what's available, pricing, and kind of what kicked that off is the police department wants to transition from shared cell phones to individual ones assigned to each officer, and there's lots of reasons why that makes sense, so it seemed like a good time considering the changes we want to make and just how technology and pricing goes to take a fresh look. We are transitioning this week from Verizon to FirstNet. I'm not going to go into all the details why, but there's some cost savings to limit the increase, adding those extra phones, and then provide some cost savings to the other departments. And FirstNet's a cell provider operated by AT&T that specializes in serving public safety agencies, and there's a lot of advantages on that. Some other news on the phone side of things. If any of you have landlines at home, it's possible you've gotten some notices from AT&T that that service is eventually coming to an end, and I'm continuing to transition out the last dozen or so landline phone lines in city facilities. Spectrum has become increasingly difficult to transition to, so I'm looking at some alternatives to wrap up those last ones as AT&T continues to put pressure on us trying to get out of that. You've got the invites on your desk. This year, Win TV celebrates 40 years on the air, and Waupaca Radio celebrates 10 years on the air. And Wayne Netzler and my department's been putting in a lot of work to plan some events that are taking place the first week of June to celebrate that. And then the cybersecurity grant we got, I'm going to be continuing progress on that after we transition the police department to individual cell phones. That's a whole other part of why we're going that way, is the increasing requirements on multi-factor for various systems, both ones managed by the city and then other entities, and we're going to be increasing our security on our law enforcement computers as part of that. That's all I've got.
All right, thank you, Josh. Barb?
Thank you, Mayor. My report can be found on page 42 in the packet. The only thing I want to mention is Open Book was held on Friday, the 16th, and they did talk to a few people, and they feel, the BOMAR, and they feel like they have gotten everything resolved. The Board of Review meeting is scheduled for next Tuesday, the 27th, 9:30 to 11:30. And I did attend the training for the Board of Review at a District 7 meeting held in April. And the rest is just informational.
Thanks, Barb. Aaron?
Thank you, Mayor Smith. Let's see. My report can be found on page 43 of your packet. I'll just touch on a couple of things. We have been working through some transition documents with Josh Finch. Actually, Josh was able to join us virtually today at our department head meeting and listen in to all the things a lot of the things that you heard here today from the department head reports. He will be here this Friday, and he's about half the day is going to be spent on Community Economic Development Director interviews. We have 3 candidates that we will be interviewing, qualified candidates, so we're excited to sit down and talk with them. And then the remainder of the day will be just him and I working together on a number of items. And if that needs to happen after that, it certainly can. And of course, I'll be available by phone for him and anyone else as much as needed. Another topic I just wanted to touch on is obviously City Council a number of months ago voted or took action on a raise order that was needed for 113 Omen Street. That did take place, started last week and finished up last week. There are just a couple items left on that lot. We are working to take care of that. So wanted to let everyone know that has been done. And that's about it. I guess the only other thing I'd like to say is this is my last monthly report, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone. I hope you guys all know how much I have appreciated my time here, not only as a city administrator, but as a park and rec director, as a recreation coordinator, as a community member. So thank you. You guys are awesome across for me here. The department head team is amazing. City council, you guys are amazing. Mayor Smith, you're amazing. I appreciate all of you. It's been a lot of fun.
You got one right.
It's been a lot of fun, and I have no doubt that I'll look forward to keeping an eye on all the things you guys do in the future. It'll be awesome. So thank you.
Thanks, Aaron. Under communications, recommendations of the mayor, so Aaron's last day is officially on the 30th, or actually his last day is the 2nd, but the last day he'll be in the office is the 30th. So we have a couple of weeks before Josh comes in, and Aaron has talked. After Aaron and I talked, he talked to Justin, and Justin is going to take the temporarily be the city administrator until Josh gets here. So if you need anything, Josh Finch will be available via email, but he won't probably be able to correspond with you because he's still got his other job going on there. So if you need anything in the interim, once Aaron's gone, contact Justin. He'll just love the extra work, I'm sure. So, anybody else have anything for the good of the meeting tonight? Next meeting is June 3rd. I know that we have a few people that are not going to be here because of 8th grade graduation. So if you're one of those, if you could just drop Barb a text or an email letting her know that you can't attend, so we make sure that we have a quorum. Otherwise, we're looking for a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion by Hagan, second by Olson, that we adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
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 Against? We are adjourned at 7:02 p.m.